Now we go back to Mini, and it is time for it's Heat 2, and it's A versus C. Starting from pole position will be Milan Becu. Georges Desmay will be alongside in the Falcon number 841 on row number 2. And then row 3, Lewis Boots, and once again it will be Adriana Kumbo alongside. Denver Boz and Louis Bieland on row number 3. Marcus Engenazen and Dorian Grandjean round out the top 8, ahead of Sem Sanslik. Thierry Dedale, Louis Patenot, Lenzo Menguel, Tom Danes and Thiago Onik with Luc Clé, Philippe Messard, Toby Tarra, Matteo Campobello, Luterio Fernandez, Rosalind May Heineke, Thiago Hollebeek, Maxime Vaucrain, Luca Pereira, Tom Grosjean, Martin Rodriguez, Axel Linders and Amin Pantoli. So drivers now going on to their official formation lap. Looks like also that Martin Rodriguez may be starting from the dummy grid. So, revs up, lights on. On est parti, it's time to go racing once again. As Milan Becu leads the way into turn number 1, followed by Georges Desmay. Loose Boots in P3. Denver Vos, the Flying Dutchman from WJS Racing, gets through on Adriana Kumbo. He drops to 5th place. All bit of loading up there. Someone's been turned around and someone's spun around to avoid. That was the 866 that spun around Axel Linders. Oh my goodness me, it's, there's been times when drivers have been caught out. And it can also show that sometimes when a driver is inadvertently spun out, you as the driver have got to make that split-second decision of whether you are going to make sure that you're going to make it, or if not, how do you exercise damage limitation thereof? So that is the big question that sometimes does need to be answered. It's never easy. Martin Rodriguez has not made it out. So a real shame there for the Portuguese driver. One of 2 Portuguese drivers here this weekend. Rodriguez running with VDK Racing. Meantime, Milan Becu has got 3 drivers on his case. One up the inside, that is Georges Desmay. Lewis Boots also trying to get through, and here comes Denver Boz from WJS Racing. A little bit of flexion in that, flexing in that rear bumper, which is quite unusual. Now, that indicates to me that it might be slightly loose, not 100% sure. However, that depends on, sometimes things are not always as they appear. Yeah, no, I can see that there is some movement in that. But Heat 1 earlier on today, won by Georges Desmay, who could be looking to try and get 2 from 2, but that might be difficult with the drivers behind because he's got Lewis Woods and Milan Becu. Becu, who started on pole position. Now each of the mini drivers will take part in 2 of the 3 heats, and of course then we have the top 36 final. We only have 41 drivers, so 6 drivers that don't make the cut will not make it through. But in the meantime, George Desmay just holding on for dear life at the moment with 6 minutes and 10 seconds plus an additional lap remaining on the clock. Denmark's Marcus Engenarsen, sorry, not Denmark, Norway's Marcus Engenarsen, my apologies there, in the 8:05 is moving forward and has moved up 2 spots, now currently running P5. So if the quartet at front, no, it's not now because it looks like Sem Sazlek has got through, which has just been confirmed by the live time. The MCK racing driver from Belgium on the Tony kart has moved up 1 position. So now, okay, drivers on the move. Welcome back, Amine Pantoli. 11 places gained by the youngster from France. Pantoli qualified down in 40th overall. He's made up 11 positions from last on the grid. So Amine Pantoli showed that he was a championship contender last year alongside the likes of Denver Boz. And both of them have moved up to Mini this year. Also, a couple of other drivers. Toby Terhar was one of them in Mini Rookie last year. So there's been quite a few changes on the field, so to speak. But George Desmay leads by 65 thousandths. Lewis Boots might be up thinking of a move here. What about Milan Beku in 3rd? Denver Boz being strategic here, holding back a length or 2 and not having to worry at the moment how things might transpire. Into turn 6. Look at that, just right in the wheel tracks, just staying there, not making any sudden movements or, you know, turning suddenly to the right, turning suddenly to the left, or accelerating even more than you can at the moment in time, which sometimes is not always always seem to work the way that you want it. But 26 runners and riders still here on this circuit. 3 minutes and 35 plus an additional lap to go. George Desmay still holding on by a fraction. Denver Boz, Flying Dutchman, sets a new fastest lap. 1:04.035 for the 887 with WJS Racing. So it's Falcon leading 1-2. Lewis Boots deciding, well, I don't want to be stuck behind George all the time because I want to get through and lead. But it's not easy to lead at this circuit. And sometimes, you know, with the rhythm of the circuit itself, it can also throw your rhythm off kilter. And sometimes that can mean that you're not always, you might think you've got confidence, but it might be a bit, might not be there as much as you think it is. So 2 3/4 minutes remaining on the timer, plus an additional lap. You could probably throw an A5 sheets of paper over these 4, and they still would stay underneath it, just to keep as they are. Look at that line astern. I haven't seen 4 cars like that so close to the front end of the field for yonks. 0.29 seconds covering the top 4. Beku up the inside, and through he goes for P2. So Milan Beku for Eichmann's Grand Prix gets the job done. But that's 1 step forward. Now there's another step that needs to be taken, and that is occupied by the 841 of Georges Desmay. And they are through into the chicane now. And Beku has got to find a little bit of waft from that engine on the side of that Eichmann's Grand Prix car. However, Lewis Boots is going to lose out to Denver Boz from WJS Racing. Wonderful to see him this morning, and I said, I shouted at him when he was on his scooter, hey, it's the Flying Dutchman. He came over and he said, how are you? Last, it's funny how a year can change things. You get to meet young drivers like that, and they've got these wonderful personalities that they bring with them. So, Desmay, Becu, Boz, line astern. Difficult to call how this one's going to play out, but at the moment, well, Heat 1, George Desmay, if he wins this, and Milan Becu does not win this and goes into the third mini heat and wins it, well, he'll be on the outside of the front row. So the drivers are making their way down towards the start-finish line as we will commence our penultimate lap of this race. And 0.7 separates the... Okay, right, the top three have dropped. Lewis Boots like a bad habit at the moment and are covered by 2.5 tenths of a second. Sem Sazlik and now Denver Boz going for an opportunity through onto Milan Becu. That's easier said than done by the 887 from WJS Racing. Now halfway through the field is Amin Pantoli. So good work by the youngster from this very nation, of course. Milan Becu for the lead, gets through. Denver Boz swings it high and wide to the outside and can't. The final lap is underway. Desmay looking for a second win, but Becu, who's now got back into the race lead, might be thinking other things. If I can push him back into the person behind me, that gives me more chance to attack this person in front. Yeah, coming down to the final few corners, it is going to be tight. Through the chicane, another change for P3. So I think Lewis Boots got through. But Milan Becu, once again, unfazed at this particular moment in time. There's the 899 from Eichmann's Grand Prix Racing Team. And now the final corner. And it is going to be Milan Becu that takes the win. Denver Boz P2. George Desmay, that's a first and a third. And then we'll have to see what happens with Milan Becu a little bit later on. Marcus Engen-Arzen up into fifth. Ahead of Sam Sazlik, Didi Didale, Tom Dames, Louis Patenot, Daniel Grandjean. That's your top 10 completed. Enzo Menguel, Adriano Cumbo, Amin Pantoli up from 27th to 13th place, so well done. Maxime Von Kren, Philippe Massard, Luc Lay, Vitalio Fernandez, Toby Tehar, Rosalind May Heineke, Luca. So we've got Louis Bieland, Matteo Campobello, Thiago Horrobek, Luca Pereira, Axel Linders and Tom Grosjean running at the 25th and finished. Lap number 7, we lost Thiago Onik, and on lap 1 we lost Martin Rodriguez.